Hi, another video, another time, let's go! Top 20 things that can't be seen in anywhere apart from Japan. Swing!
Seen anywhere but in Japan. Before we continue, don't forget to hit that like
That's a lot of bricks.
button. Also subscribe to our channel and turn on
It's top 10 video as well to go do the thing.
notifications. Let's begin. Capital city, Tokyo. Tokyo is its
Looks
capital.
pretty.
Here population is about 6,279,000 people can somehow fit in 1 square kilometer because
That's a shit ton of people.
of such a number of people and many businesses. The temperature in the capital city is always about 10 degrees higher than for it outside of Tokyo. This is a city of paradoxes. Only here modern sky
For a minute, that bit going across, I was like, flying train? Flying? What is this? It's just
skyscrapers
words.
sparkling with neon lights, and sirens and gardens can harmoniously combine on the one hand. This is a metropolis with a frantic pace of life and high-speed trains, and on the
I want to visit the temples. Show me the temples.
other, a city of ancient temples and peace of mind. Kids clean their own schools. From early childhood in Japan, cleaning one's own classroom and school is a part of their school education.
Good.
Japanese are very different from our kids because they teach them in a completely different way from our school children in the first academic year. They start in April and end in March. But they still have summer holidays.
Yeah, time. Yeah, we really need to teach kids. There's a whole lot of stuff that we need to teach our kids that aren't or isn't currently being taught. First aid for 1, and mental health for 2. So basically, first aid for the body, first aid for the mind. That's what we need to do.
Though they do not last only a month and a half. It is difficult to imagine children more independently than Japanese school children. They take an active part in cooking food for lunch, and actually manually clean the whole at the end of the day in Japan. There are no school buses, and it is not customary to introduce children to school. Even first graders travel on their own by public transport in Japan. It is not customary to miss school due to illness. Yes, and school children are extremely rare in general. As you understand, little Japanese have to grow up very early.
Yeah, I mean they still get childhood, but to get like they can look after themselves. God knows some people I know can't.
Living in small apartments. In general, the Japanese work like bees, and live about the same due to lack of space. Most of them live in small apartments with an area of less than 10 square meters. In such an apartment as possible, only spend the night to go to work. Is not surprising that the Japanese are not in a hurry to go home.
Well, it's basically the size of this little room I'm in now is what they get. That's it. I can't even fit. I could fit a tiny bed in here, but well, I'll be sliding under my desk.
Even after a hard day, most of them go straight from the office to a nightclub or
That bunk bed idea? If I put one up there. Sorted, mate.
a bar,
Sorted.
and only visit a couple of hours a day. Transport. At home, but what we can definitely envy is the Japanese road. They are in perfect condition. True, most of the highways paid parking is also not cheap in the center of Tokyo. Prices reach $6 per hour. But not every Japanese has their own car,
I thought he was just on the end of the train then, just like, hi.
and most of them get to and from work by public transport, which in this country
That's
is
good.
perhaps the best in the world.
Shwung.
High-speed train carriages, here varying degrees of comfort for every taste and wallet. In some trains, the seats can even be turned so that you can always look in the direction of the train movement.
That's kind of cool. Like, I don't mind trains when I'm going the other way. I'm on a train, I'm probably reading or something, but you know.
But riding the metro is not the most pleasant experience, despite the fact that trains, here modern people in carriages ride like herrings in barrels, especially during rush hour. You might say in cramped conditions, eyes, not offended, but try to travel for a week, and I assure you will feel resentment to the whole world.
Yeah. I did one trip in London, and I was like, "Oh, this is this." The thing that got me in London was that the doors open, like they can open either side. So I went across to the opposite side, and was like, "Okay, if I put my suitcase here and I'm here, I'm safe. I'm good. I'm done." Then the door opened, and I was like, "Oh crap!" Nearly fell out backwards. Was my first time on the tube.
The unique fitness-themed bar. Muscle Girls is a Tokyo-based women's gym that doubles as a fitness-themed bar staffed by a group of young,
That's pretty
muscular
cool.
women. Japan is famous for its plethora of themed bars and cafes, from black cat cafes to cafes dedicated to women's thighs.
They would kick my ass in pretty much every
But
strength.
Muscle Girls is the country's first and only bar dedicated to female weightlifting. Now Erie Muscle runs her own gym, which last year evolved into the Muscle Girls Bar, a unique, colorful venue that features both
That's
an
pretty cool.
assortment of all types beverages and gym equipment as decorations and props. But the bar's main attraction is its staff, which consists of young, female fitness enthusiasts who love showing off their muscles.
That's pretty cool. How many guys are going in like, oh yeah, look at me, yeah, I'm better than them, and then just like 1, 2, whoosh, guys destroyed.
Muscular staff has become very popular in the restaurant and bar business. Work and economy. The Japanese study very diligently because they understand without education and get me a prestigious job and without work, they simply will not survive competition in the country very high. Japan is often called the country of workaholics.
I mean, there's certain degrees of good things about that. I mean, obviously you want a family life and things as well. Not that I can really talk, because I work, I then come home and work out, I then do things like this, I then eat at some point and then go to bed. I need to move.
But in fact, in most cases, they are not guided by love for their work, but by the desire to survive among the management of large enterprises, double standards on the one hand. They comply with the laws, prohibit their employees to stay in the office longer than the prescribed time.
I mean, fair. The laws are there to be like, look, don't be here for too long. Like, go do something.
Overtime work is not welcome at the end of the working day. Even the electricity is cut off to no one had a desire to stay and work.
Just head torch, just like.
On the other hand, employees are given work plans that simply cannot be completed during working hours. Each employee knows that if he doesn't manage to take his place, I'll take another, because there are a lot of people in the country. Therefore, the Japanese work for wear and tear dismissal is a real tragedy. Most in the country have been working in one place all their life to get a decent job. After being fired, it is simply impossible. This approach is beneficial to the country's economy. Corporations get rich quickly. But paradoxically, most Japanese only suffer from this. Kawaii fashion.
Cute fashion, right?
Despite the fact that the Japanese very much respect their traditions on the streets, they do not go in kimono at all. If you want to see the most fashionable representatives of Japanese youth, you must go to Takashita
Oh, that's
Street.
cool.
Here you can see yourself, and outrageous outfits in this country cosplay originated. So, walking around Harajuku, you can meet various superheroes' attention is attracted,
That's
not
cool.
only by outfits, but also hairstyles.
I
Many
can't dance.
Japanese dye their hair in different colors. But dresses are the bright inhabitants of the country, can only in their free time in any profession. Women in Japan.
Tedness.
Arises in at all times, Japanese women had many rights compared to other nationalities. They were never forced to marry. Women inherited property just like her brothers. Nevertheless, to this day, it is more difficult for Japanese women get a decent job than men. And they usually receive less wages in a family. Complete matriarchy usually reigns. A man earns more. But the wife is in charge of the budget. So, it is not surprising that many women in the country voluntarily become housewives.
I mean, the wage gap is obviously wrong. However, in a case for me, someone who's better with the budget would be so much better. I'm really bad with money. New microphone? Didn't need it. I mean, it's now fun now that I've got it. I don't need to use this one. But, yeah, I'm bad with money.
And are exclusively engaged in raising children and creating coziness in the house. Unlike Europeans, who primarily value the comfort of Japanese women for the sake of beauty, are ready for a lot of this. The outfit is difficult to call practical, but on the other hand, Japanese women definitely do not suffer from the lack of male attention. Japanese women believe that beauty is their main advantage and arms to work. A Japanese woman can be very strong, but in the company of men, she has to pretend to be weak. This requires the etiquette. Japanese girl wants to hard work at a construction site, places, workshops, and even a woman can cope with this task.
Don't have to blur that out then. Pikachu! That's cool. I can lift, but damn, she can lift.
Japanese TV shows. Looking at Japanese TV shows, it is hard to believe that these people are introducing advanced technologies, and the best technology in the world. These people seem to be absolutely insane. It is hard to believe that a person with their intelligence level will laugh at such jokes. But it is these programs
Am I
that are
supposed to
popular
laugh
in
there?
Japan.
Shit.
This is easy to explain. We have already said that almost all Japanese people work too hard at work.
You just say, work hard, play harder.
Is simply not able to perceive serious information at the end of the day. So, they want to have a little distraction laughing at that. How adult men portray babies, or something like that.
Oh.
Dogs. A rare Japanese can have a cat of their own. And yet, despite the lack of time and
I mean, I love dogs, and if that dog was in front of me, I'd be like, oh, little papa, but...
small apartments. The love of the Japanese with an animal is so great that some people not only have cats, but also dogs are only usually small cute dogs that look more like a plush toy than a security guard. You can walk a dog in special areas, but even the tiniest dog cannot be let off the leash, and in crowded areas, dogs generally walk in wheelchairs.
Did she just buy a fucking dog? Pardon my language, but... What? He's just in a little kennel somewhere, it's just like... dog.
Body parts pillows. In the fight against stress, any means are good. Nothing soothes better than hugging a loved one. But what to do, lonely people? Especially for them invented pillows in the shape of various parts of the body.
Schlong pillow!
Judging because more often, they order Japanese women do not have enough strong male hands, and men more often buy a pillow in the shape of female body parts.
Oh, cringe your neck, mate. You wanna...
Black cat.
Get
Since we have touched on the topic animals, then one cannot help but remember about black cats. Unlike us, the Japanese believe that they bring good luck.
Anyone who thinks a black cat will bring you bad luck is just wrong, because black cats are awesome. Look at it.
They believe that the mistress of black cats will always have many boys.
Look at it.
There's even a cafe in which all pets are black.
I want to go now.
Calamitous. Will argue with the fact that the nature of Japan is incredibly beautiful. But
That's
at the
pretty
same
cool.
time, it is just crazy. Absolutely all the cataclysms that only exist in nature occur in Japan, and much more often than in other countries. The Japanese archipelago
cool.
is located on 4 tectonic plates, which is why seismic and volcanic activity is observed here. In addition, the country is located in the Asian Sleepy Zone, which is why typhoons often appear in mountainous areas. Strong landslides regularly occur. Tsunamis from time to time.
So basically, it's that scene from Hercules when Hades is trying to point the calamities that way. It's like, oh, Olympus is over there.
Wash away entire cities. In general, we can say that the Japanese live on a volcano, and this will be true both in the direct and in the pen in a natural sense. It is difficult to imagine that a state located in such a place will prosper. Nevertheless, the Japanese managed to build a country with a high standard of living even in such conditions, thanks to careful preparation for any disasters. The government managed to significantly reduce the number of human casualties. If we take all the people who ended every year due to natural disasters, only 1.5% of them will be residents of Japan, although
Not sure whether that's super high or super
20%
low.
of world calamities occur here.
Damn.
Japanese food. In many respects, the long life of the Japanese
now I'm
contributed to
hungry.
their nutrition. Food for this person is a whole ritual. They are not in that they will not be content with fast food. The basis of the diet is rice, noodles from durum wheat, seafood with minimal heat treatment, and vegetables.
Now I'm hungry.
Besides, the Japanese eat with chopsticks, so they won't be able to eat too much today. The whole world seems to be obsessed with healthy nutrition, but the Japanese seem to have known for a long time secret try to find a fat Japanese. I'm sure it won't work.
And anyone who says, oh, well, the sumos and all of them are really fat, those guys are stacked. Like, they are strong, and they will bulldoze through you like you're nothing. Like you're a wet paper towel.
Population.
A lot.
Approximately 128 million Japanese are native speakers of their language and culture.
That's pretty cool. Like, they're learning the language around them. It's good.
The population of the country for 98.5% consists of ethnic Japanese. Taking into account the fact that Japanese traditions mentality very different from European visitors all their lives here. The Japanese feel like strangers, and tolerance is incompatible concepts. Despite the fact that they can smile kindly as a foreigner on the doors of many establishments to this day, there's a foreign signature sense are not served here. And you will have to live with the Japanese literally side by side, because the population density here is 336 people per square kilometer. This is a very high figure.
That's a lot.
Sport.
Get him,
Although,
son.
wait, here they are fat Japanese sumo wrestlers, but these guys are fattening sauce specifically for the sake of sports interest. The amount is rather a tribute to tradition.
That's stacked, mate.
Modern Japanese are very respected in other sports. True sports halls and fitness centers in Japan, less popular than in other countries. Firstly,
If you ever want to make time last forever, plank. Because
Japanese simply do not have time for this, and secondly, they do not have problems with being overweight due to proper nutrition.
yeah, true.
Japanese service. Due to employment, most Japanese eat outside the home. Therefore,
Oh, I'm even more hungry. Give
in
me.
this country, the largest number of restaurants should not be tipped at the same time. Be sure, here you will be served at the highest level. The Japanese introduced such a concept as a room. Ours is difficult to explain its essence.
That guy went from, not that I can say much, but that guy went from having her to no her. Having her to no her.
But in short, it means that the service staff is obliged to anticipate the wishes of the client and do it free of charge. Just from the heart, thanks to this, tourists always have wonderful impressions after travel to this country.
Damn, that's skillful. That's like right on the brim.
Singing road. In Japan, there's a musical road. Even a little in Hokkaido and Wakayama and in
I wanna go.
Ueno. While driving, a tackle vibration sound noise resembling a melody is generated. This
Down with the sickness. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Oh,
effect was achieved by forming a special profile on the road. Washlets. Washlets, or as many people tend to say, crazy Japanese super toilets, are electric toilets with a water spray feature that cleans your derriere. Well, the Japanese are totally used to this zesty feeling.
Yo.
Foreigners, simply put, struggle with it.
That's because our toilets don't shove water up your ass.
Nyatamori. In Japan, there is a special kind of art not about that sea. This consumption dry the body of a woman. According to the idea of the wrong sea, to combine female beauty and ideal serving. The basis is the doctrine of female energy, a whole philosophy. But Europeans and Americans find it difficult to comprehend the truth and the essence of it, that sea.
Yeah, because they'd be like, oh, naked woman, let's go. Nom 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 nom.
Therefore, most foreigners perceive such a presentation as a spicy gastronomic show. Thank you for watching my...
That's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Nice to learn things about new countries. Nice to just do something different instead of the... I like the Jim Fowles reactions. They're quite funny. Apart from when I'm about to work out, because then I'm like, I'm about to die. But yeah, I like learning new things. I might do some more of these. They're quite fun. There's links down below. There's even more links now in my link things in the description, because I'm trying to branch out and do just everything. It's the way my ADHD brain works, is that I'm just like, oh, hyperfixate. Whoosh. But this is actually, streaming and doing things like this is actually a thing that I also enjoy. So it's not something that I'll just be like, okay, swipe. There are plenty of other things I do just go, oh, I'm going to learn this. Yeah, let's do this. Where'd to go? Join the Discord if you like. Discord's fun. Talk to people exactly the same there as I am here, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. But join on Twitch. We've got games. I'm going to start playing more games because I need to. I've been focusing on essays and stuff. Anyway, join us. Let's see what happens. Join Dem Wings. It's quite fun. Catch you later.